Hey there, tabletop role players, Cartoon Lark here, and today I want to discuss what to do if you're in a bigger party to keep the game going. Now, I hear all the time that with larger parties, everything's going to take longer, but I think that time can be mitigated by different actions we can take as a player. Now, it's great when you have everyone on board, but that's not always the case. But if we can guide everyone in the right direction, we can make these games even more entertaining and just as fun as they would be with a 3 or a 4 character party. Now, first thing we want to look at is a night should have 3 to 5 events. I've talked about that in some of my other videos, and a lot of the Dungeon Masters online discuss the same thing. 3 to 5 events in a night. Some of them could be combat, some of them could be roleplay, some of them could be a chase scene. You never know what's coming your way, but to keep these events rolling, it is up to the players to let that ball keep on moving, to not get it stuck anywhere. And one of the first things we have to avoid is silence. When the Dungeon Master has stopped describing whatever's in front of us, it is up to us to take action. Too often I see that there'll be that awkward silence after the DM is done talking, where everyone's just kind of looking around the table and asking, what do we do now? What do you want to do? I'm not sure what I want to do. And everyone's afraid to be that person who takes initiative. We have initiative rolls for a reason because we were trying to take initiative. We love rolling high on that initiative roll. So let's use that here. Let's take initiative. Whatever the DM said last, if that's the only thing you can remember, jump on that. There's a town with a blacksmith, there's an herbalist, and there's a board with some jobs on it. All right, I don't know what to do. I go to the job board. Taking that initiative can keep the game moving and allow you to get more and more events that night and have less debate and discussion with the rest of the party. It is normal for that to happen, and it's not a bad thing when your party discusses, but we want to make sure we're doing our best to take actions and not ask the party for permission for every little thing that we want to do. Another thing that we want to do as an adventurer, as a party member, is make sure that we are taking initiative in combat. We're making sure that when we're in combat, we know what we want to do and we're going for it. When our turn comes around, we should already have a plan on this is what my character is going to do. If you like to describe it a little bit more than just roll the dice, that's fine. Give your description as soon as your turn comes around and then roll those dice. In fact, challenge yourself. See how long it takes you to get those dice rolled. It shouldn't take long when the DM says that it's your turn or when the player who goes before you, their turn ends. What we got to be able to do as players is know when our turn is coming up and get those dice ready to roll. It could be as simple as I roll fireball, those guys make a death save, and roll your dice. That's all it takes. It can be simple and quick, or you can describe a little more. I point my finger in that direction, and flames erupt from the ground. All right, and then you just roll your dice. So you can be a simple and quick description, and if you need to, you let the DM know, those guys have to make dexterity saving throws. And then we go right back to the game. The faster, the better when it comes to a big party in combat. Keep those turns rolling. Now, if you get distracted, if you get stuck, or if you feel there's a moment where like, I'm not sure what the best move here is going to be, and you want to ask the party members, you can do that, but just know you're slowing everything down. You don't always have to be perfectly optimal. If you get stuck and aren't sure what to do, take the dodge action, move somewhere else, and then see if by next turn you can know what to do. In real life, combat is split-second decisions, especially if a round is 6 seconds. How much can happen in 6 seconds is crazy, and it's not unheard of for someone to flinch, to pause, to panic, or to get stuck for a few seconds in a dangerous situation. For that reason, if you don't know what to do, then your character doesn't know what to do. Take the dodge action, keep moving. Just dodge whatever's coming your way. You just take a round doing that. You see that all the time in action movies. The person runs out of bullets. He's not sure what to do for a second, so he jumps behind some cover. Or the person getting shot by arrows. They fire one arrow back, and a swarm of arrows comes by, and they just start dodging arrows. That's fine. Make that your thing. Make it cinematic, and just describe what you're doing. If you're taking the dodge action, you may not get to describe it until the next round comes, but that's fine too. Describe it at that point when the DM starts to miss because he's rolling with disadvantage. Now, a great thing to do with a bigger party is to use your character's name often. It's going to help the other players remember what your name is and keep the role play going the way we want it to. So anytime your character's talking, especially when you're working with new characters, state your name. Merrick says this. Merrick does this. Merrick's going to go over here. And when everybody learns that your name is Merrick, then you can just say, I go over here. I say this. I'm going to try this. Everybody knows your name at that point, so it doesn't matter. But early game, keep saying your character's name. It'll help everybody learn it, and then we won't have to pause and say, okay, what was your name again? Because those pauses do add up when you've got 7 or 8 players at the table, and everybody's crisscross asking what was your character's name, so they can roleplay a little bit more and engage. Oh, another thing that we can do is to disengage from arguments. Now, I know it sounds kind of weird because it is a game about interaction and working together, but here's what I mean. When an argument comes up, it's important that you state your side and the reasoning behind it. Try to do it in character and try to make it in one simple paragraph or sentence if you can, and then let it go after that. Disengage from the argument. If the party's going to debate, you got two options really. You can put it to a vote, or you can just surrender. In my opinion, it's better to surrender or let somebody else put it to a vote. Votes are fine. I'm a big fan of voting. That's a good deal. But disengage when somebody's really pushing for something. There's no use in having two characters battling it out head to head. You get the same feeling and effect if they just disagreed and then went with it. It's so much easier and it keeps the game rolling if you say, I think we should leave those guys for dead, and you say, no, we have to save those guys, and the first person says, okay, we'll save them, but this is on your head. That mindset, that attitude of just rolling with it is part of being in the adventure. It's part of being with the party. And that's what we're here to do anyway. We're here to go on an adventure together. That being said, don't make a character that won't stick with the party. I don't care what your flaws are. I don't care what your traits are and your ideals are. Every single D&D character should have one common trait, and that is, I stick with the party. If that is our attitude, then we're going to get to play the game together. If every time we have a disagreement, we split the party, we're no longer playing the game together. We're playing two different games. And if you're going to have if you're going to have each of your D&D games based on your moral code, then you're not going to have a lot of D&D games. You're going to get split up from most games. And no DM wants to have to go to this side of the room and say, okay, here's what you guys are doing, and then come back over here and say, okay, here's what you guys are doing. It slows the whole game down. Now, I'm not saying you can never split the party. Sometimes you can make some interesting things once all the characters are engaged with each other and everybody's excited to see, oh no, what's going to happen to this character? He's scouting for us. We want to know what happens so that when he comes back we can help him or save him or get involved in whatever's going on. But we don't want to split the party over an argument, because then it becomes I told you so, then it becomes see what happens, and we're all weaker when we're split. The CR in this game is designed to work a certain way, and if a dungeon master thinks, okay, I've got 8 party members, I can throw this creature at him, that'll be great. And then we split the party, it messes up the game, players can die, and it's because we broke up the fundamental part of this game, and that is working together. That is really what D&D is all about, working together on some kind of an adventure. So don't be afraid to surrender your argument and say, you know what? Let's go for it, but this is on you. And then you just keep on going. It can be a great character arc. It can be redeeming for the person who has victory here and says, you know, see, I told you we could do it. Or it can be a great tragic moment where this person has to say, well, I'm going down with the ship. I made a decision. I'm going to stick to it. Either way, if the party dies, so be it. That could happen. But we're playing the game together. And now we don't have to worry about separation and that sort of thing. It's better to lose your character in this epic moment of a bad decision that we stuck with than it is to separate the party, have half the party die, half the party live, and then we've got to now make half new characters to somehow fit them in the story. That's just not a great way to go through it. And typically, if you split the party, that half that stuck to their guns and said, we're going to fight and die no matter what, and the half that said, we're running away, those are probably going to die because they're missing half of their party. It is so much better just to take that surrender, take that loss, and go with what the rest of the party is doing. If you guys are good to put it to a vote, that makes it easy as well. This half votes this half votes this. In a split decision, surrender your vote. It's that easy to keep everything moving, keep the Dungeon Master happy for all the work that they've put in, and allow you to get those 3 to 5 events in a single night. Good luck in all of your future adventures. Good luck in all your future games. Keep up the hard work of being a great player character to help the whole table have a better night every single week or every other week or every month or whenever you get to play. And I will talk to you guys in our next video. I'm Cartoon Lark. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with any players that you feel could use a little help with their bigger party.